Well, I don't know.
Hi, my name is Brendan Babb. I'm with one of the members of Code for Anchorage Brigade, and it's every other Tuesday night here, 5:30 to 7. Everyone's welcome. You saw some of the cool trails work that everyone's working on.
Pizza and beer.
Pizza and beer.
You gotta remember that tagline. Pizza and
yes.
beer.
So the next one's October 28th. This is something that Matt worked on. It's a thing on flu shots, and I'm going to let him basically explain it to you. Because he did all the work and got it set up.
I did not really do any work. This is one of those turnkey, pre-packaged Code for America platforms. I think it was piloted in Chicago, if I understood correctly. So it's a ready-to-go web app, just waiting for you to deploy it somewhere and say, this is my city. This is where I want to focus the attention on. So we put the flu shots app up at codeforanchorage.org/flu shots. And basically, it's just a simple Google map that has place markers on it that are related to locations around the city that currently offer flu shots. And the data side of it itself is actually just a Google Doc that we'll be able to pass along to local agencies like hospitals or Walgreens or whoever, and people will be able to get in and add information right to this Google Doc. At this point, it's kind of like a little hidden doc out there, but it's a pretty straightforward web app. It's basically just a Google map that displays the flu shot info, but it has stuff like what days of the week the place is open, the hours of the day that that particular clinic is open.
Choose a Wednesday. What's open on Wednesday?
Yeah, and also one of the things that we'll need to pull in right now, we're still missing quite a bit of data for this app, but one of the things we'll need to pull in is like if it's a free flu shot location. They do those around town, once or twice a season, or if
those would be in blue.
Right, or if they take insurance. So actually, these. When we pulled this up last night, for example, at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, all of those place markers were actually black, grayed out because the hours that are on record right now for it, those clinics were all closed. So if someone had pulled that app up last night, they would see like, oh, you can't go get a flu shot right now at any of these locations. They're grayed out. They're not working. So right now, you could go get a flu shot at Cars or Walgreens or one of those locations that's on there. So.
And this is live. There's one weird thing. It's case sensitive on you have to have the capital F and the capital S for right now. We'll look to fix that. But and it works pretty well on your phone. The phone thing will take your location and show you stuff close by you.
Do you want to pull up the Chicago one real quick just to show like the Chicago flu shots? They have like 10 billion locations.
They seem to have more people there and more flu shots.
Imagine that. They're zoomed in quite a bit, but this has example here. So these blue ones, these are free clinic locations. The grayed out ones, they're not open at the current moment. And then the red ones, they are either for fee or they will accept insurance or whatever. So, and this is all, there's a Google Doc that they, pass around to various sources basically to have them update. It's basically a fancy Excel sheet that Google hosts.
And I'll put more information on GitHub for Code for Anchorage, and I guess technically you could put false flu locations in here, so that is one downside, but other people could contribute to it. Yeah.
The Google Doc, do you also make sure before you pull it in that you're removing any possible like cross-site scripting and all that other fun stuff?
Google actually has an API. It's technically not a Google Doc, it's a Google Fusion table. Okay. So Google has a JavaScript client for consuming that API that handles a lot of that stuff.
Yes. And you had a question?
Yeah, is this actually something that you can tailor to something beyond flu shots? Like say pizza places that are open right now.
I would contribute to that.
What's that?
I would contribute to that.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, are you able actually?
I think Google Maps already does that to a degree.
Right. So is this? Because I see it looks like it utilizes Google Maps, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
But
code
do you know what I
is-
mean? Like, could you make it for something? You know,
Yeah,
that's just
sure.
a hypothetical example for
Yeah.
pizza.
Yeah, the code's available. I mean, we have a forked copy of it, but you can get it if you go to the Chicago Flu one and just look for it. There's some about here it
It's
is.
that, yeah.
And here's
Wow.
And ours has the link back to ours
Yeah.
as well, our particular source repository.
So
So
it's just HTML and JavaScript. There's some PHP stuff for a calendar reminder that we took out, but yeah, you could make it Pizza 2014. Or
Does it
whatever.
have the filter for the shot versus like the nasal thing?
it does not, but that is something we discussed adding in. We should be able to put something like that in. You know, there's like what 5 or 6 different types of flu shots as
Yeah.
well.
The school districts and
Yeah.
the opportunity.
Yeah, typically there's also different vaccine types, so different places like
Yeah.
Right.
like some places offer the 4-way, some people offer the 3-way.
Right. So this particular platform, like we said up front, this was piloted and prepared by that Chicago group. This, we did not build this thing up from scratch. It's just that redeploy for.
So there's one field on the table that has all of the different kinds of services that you could consume, so you could break that out
Right.
for each site if you wanted to.
Yeah, and there is work on a national standard for the flu data stuff that Philadelphia is working on with Chicago. I don't know how far along it is, but just so that each city could report in that certain way, and then different apps could consume it. They have a similar thing for like Yelp for food inspections, and that feeds in San Francisco. And that's also part of some of the similar stuff, the open trails. They're trying to come up with a standard. We're working on something differently with that. And I will do the other stuff really quick here. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for doing that. This is, let's see. I worked on this. This is a way to check your food stamp balance. And I'll put my phone over. I'll start over here. So basically, you can put in your food stamp things come with a card. It's kind of like a debit card, and it has a 16-digit code on it. And this is the current number, 312-1148, and you can just text. Luckily, I found someone from AmeriCorps who had a number I could test for Alaska, and so I've used it about 500 times. Luckily, there's no. So what this does is I just texted his number, and it calls up the service where you check your balance, and it types in the 16-digit number, beep, boop, 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 and then it listens to the recording, and it transcribes the balance that is said on there, and then it parses that, and then it'll send a text back. It takes usually maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and it'll send you back with the balance. You can just check there. So the benefit of this is if you want to know the balance on your card before you go up to buy something, or if the money for the month has been deposited, or it's just an easy way to do that without having to call in. It's not hugely revolutionary, but this is a program through Code for America, and Alaska is one of 8 states now that has it deployed. And there's also a Spanish version, which I got some feedback on from this lovely woman here in terms of the translation, and I submitted that to Code for America, and they're going to look into changing it. We have, instead of saying por favor, it said
Just say favor.
favor, yeah, so it's in favor. So, and they're also working on having a lot of different languages translated, and so each number would have its own. Each language would have its own number, and there's a Google Docs thing where people can put in translations and also record the voice message. Because if I call this number, it'll talk to me in whatever language it is. So this is the Spanish number here. It's just slightly different, and both of these are currently live. And Code for America just bought Google AdWords for them, so they're advertising in Alaska now to use this thing. Yeah.
So with the English and Spanish, how are you guys basically? You have basically a copy of your repo, but just with Spanish, or is it using some sort of translation
I keep
function?
thinking this is my computer. It is actually the goal I could probably find it.
Probably IoT.
Is the goal is to have people in the different communities or speak the language. Like you could use Google Translate, but that usually isn't a strong translation. I'm not sure if I can bring it up, but anyway, it's a spreadsheet, and they're trying to talk to different people and have them do custom translations. And there's different columns. I'd like to add a lot of Alaska Native languages, and Tagalog's the next thing I want to try to add into that one here. And also talk to the food banks. I talked to Food Bank of Alaska, and they're going to put this on their website shortly. But find out what is the most common user that they come, or languages they come into contact with here in Alaska. Yes, Mike.
How's it doing the transcription?
It's using Twilio.
Twilio has a speech-to-text.
It does a speech recognition. There are about 5% of the time the balance isn't correct. It'll say something, or it has trouble translating it, and they're working on improving that accuracy. I realized as a geeky sub thing, it's a computer reading the information to another computer that's translating it. You could actually, it'd be great to just get the information directly.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, really? Wow. It's a long way around.
For right now, this actually, was put up like in 2 months.
So charge you more to do that? Is that an extra penny or something?
To do the translation, I don't know the cost. I think it's just voice time. Texts are about are 3/4 of a penny, but if you use the voice, if you do phone calls, it's like 1 cent per minute. So I don't know how long. Luckily, this is a Code for America is footing the bill for this one. So that works out well, as opposed to this huge voter application that's going to blow up my $40.
You said the number was 352-1148. Is that right?
Yeah. And every time I do it, I look right into each face. Yeah, sorry. I know it's end of a long weekend, so I'll try to be. So yeah. So this one's English, and you just buy the numbers from Twilio, and they give you a various selection of them. Okay, I'll be quick. I'll go quick on the other ones, and I'll try to put this up at the Code for Anchorage site.
Real quick, I think we have a few questions about that still.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff.
What happens if the food stamp account numbers fall into the wrong hands?
I don't know. It's other than this number that I have from the AmeriCorps person. It would be your own individual number, and there's a PIN associated with the number, so you can't buy anything without the PIN. This just allows you to check the balance. So in theory, if you got someone else's number, you could check their balance, but you can't buy anything with it.
So, and then I have a question real quick. Do you have to type in the 16-digit PIN every time, or is there just a
we're working on that to save it as a contact, or they're also talking about having it if once you've done it, there's a way you could just text back again, like some kind of word, and just have it resubmit that one. I was trying to figure out a way to save it as a contact thing, because you can do that with conference call numbers that you have to type in a lot of stuff. You can save it as a whole contact in a whole call. It's harder to do that with text, where I couldn't figure out immediately how to do it.
It would be cool to catalog like how many responses you get to it, because you actually get to save, like it actually keeps a persistent database of everything you've gotten in your text. It would be neat to see like who is this and all this other stuff in there.
Right. And this is their little logo they have for the thing, which they were nice since I got Alaska up. They just got this on Friday. This is for locations that take food stamps or EBT. This is you can type in your address, and you can also, the nice thing is you can text to it as well, and it'll return a text message with the information. And there's an iPhone app as well. And Code for America is talking with these guys. So there's Bus Stop, Shop, Grocery, Sagaya, and you can also, they have a number you can text as well. It also is in Chinese and Spanish. I should have had you check how good a job they did there. And then the other one is ebtnearme.org. This works on your phone. They use a really dark base map. This is like at night base map kind of. but it'll show you, it'll work with your phone and just show you the locations of places close by. And so those are all kind of food stamp related. Whoops, that was something else I was looking at. Trails, we already did. This is the Code for Anchorage meetup. And I'll ask, sorry, there were two things. Oh yeah, we did it. The other thing I was going to ask, and I'll ask Lance and Alicia if I can put it up on the Facebook thing for the hackathon, is we have bus data now from the Muni that goes into Google Maps, and this is another transit app, and they will do your city if they get enough votes. So I'll just put up a thing there. If you guys want to vote, you just go to the wish list here, and it shows Anchorage is, since I've launched this, People Movers moved up pretty high here. We're in 5th place.
Awesome.
But if anyone wants to go there and just vote, it just takes your email address and you vote, and it just goes up there. Yes?
What does it do?
The app itself will tell you when the next bus is based on where you're at. It's not real. It wouldn't be real time because we don't have real time yet for Anchorage. I think it shows what the interface looks like. But the nice thing is this is what it looks like. So for if you're in a city that has like subways or ferries, it'll just show you all the transportation stops close by you and what the next time they're coming. So it's basically, if we can get them to do it, it's free. They're just taking the data we already have up there. Yes?
Can you show them transit mix?
Maybe. There's one last, I will show them that. This is one last thing. Another thing we can vote Anchorage up in the thing, and I'll put this on Facebook so you don't have to. It's called Mapnificent, and it shows you how far you can get on transit. This is for Seattle in 15 minutes or whatever time. So this is 16 minutes. It shows you the range. It's called a travel shed, and if I go to like 30 minutes, it'll reprocess it. So it starts to show you like, oh, in that time you could take transit to here and then walk around there. And then the other feature it has that's nice is you can say if you have your bike with you that you're taking on transit, and then the area will, oops, it's doing it. It'll recalculate it and show you with your bike as well. And it also has a voting thing where you can just vote for Anchorage. All right, and then I'll just show the transit mix and be done.
And you said you're going to post that stuff up on Code for Anchorage on Facebook?
Well, I was going to do it on the Alaska Hackathon site.
Oh, on the
I'll post
Alaska
those
Hackathon
links.
site, okay.
I would post it on or briefly right now, the Hackathon.
I'd stick with the
website's
Alaska Hackathon Facebook
Yeah.
page for,
Yeah.
I
for
think you're
real-time
admin
updates.
on that page, Brennan, but I'll double check, because you should be able to just switch over to the hackathon and make posts.
Oh, yeah, or can I just post it as some, yeah. We'll
You can
figure out
post
something.
it to the wall and I can share it.
Okay, this is the last thing, if it's working.
That's why it was a maybe.
What?
That's why it was a maybe.
No, I just feel like I talk too much, so I just want to go too long. This doesn't seem like it's working right now, but what it is, it's called transitmix.net, and it allows you to look at bus lines and draw your own bus lines and say like, this bus line would be great if I could have a stop right in front of my house, or you can just move it around, and it'll show you how it impacts the cost. Like, oh, if you ran this twice as often, it would cost an extra $8 million a year to run. But it's really cool. People have used it for, I don't know why it won't come in. Well, obviously it's because it's a demo. A presentation, that's why it's not working. But
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm not going to worry, but I'll just show you. You can see what it looks like here. Right here. The cool thing is people have done it for like rickshaws and other transportation things. And it just looks like. So here's San Francisco, and you can just choose an existing line if you have the data in there. And this is how much it costs, how many miles, 4.1 million a year. And you can just make changes to think. It's pretty interesting to see the different changes you can make and how much it costs. Cool. So
And that's for city planners to kind of.
it's for
Kind of calculate a budget for. putting
yeah,
in
but it's
a
for
sheet
anyone
of
to
line.
use to basically you can be an armchair city planner. You can
Yeah.
take a look, and it's kind of cool looking at some of the existing routes. And we're trying to get Anchorage to give that information on how much it costs so that you could try it for Anchorage as well.
Is that based off of fuel costs at all? Or what are they actually using to come up with those numbers?
The numbers come from the transit, from the cities themselves,
Oh,
where they say,
okay.
this is how much it costs. And some of it would be fuel. It would also be salaries for bus drivers if you added
Okay.
additional, and costs of adding additional buses.
Because the fuel seems like it's a really big variable.
Yeah. So I'm not sure, how accurate it is, but it gives you a rough range.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I'm not closing this down, but thanks everyone who helped me. Sven, thanks for working on stuff. And it was great meeting Joe and Greg. And thanks for work on CutePets.Anchorage and all the stuff. And thank you guys so much for coming out. It's really fun meeting the people I got to meet. So
Thanks for bringing like 80 projects.